What's going on, YouTube world and YouTube tribe? Welcome to LilBigMan Gaming, bringing you another review. This time for Supergirl episode 2, called A Few Good Women. But first, I can get everybody to hit that like, subscribe, share, hit that notification button. Also, let me know in the comments down below of what you think of Supergirl so far. Or if you have you watched all the seasons of Supergirl? What you think of Supergirl? What you think of it being this last season? Let me know in the comments below. Also, those who are not subscribed, what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button and become part of the tribe. What are you waiting for? Just do it. Smash that subscribe button right now. Because I know the people are not subscribed because the tribal chief checks his subscribers. And the tribal chief sees. He's disappointed a little bit that there are some who are still not subscribed to the channel. Subscribe to the channel. Hit that button. Do it now. The tribal chief demands it. Those who are subscribed and are part of the tribe, well, we really appreciate you for giving me this opportunity to entertain you. With that being said, let's get into it. So you know I like to give y'all the synopsis. So once again, the episode is called A Few Good Women. As the stakes with Lex are raised higher than ever before, Lena must decide how far she's willing to go to stop her brother. Supergirl and the team are faced with a challenge unlike anything they ever dealt with before. So, what this episode is basically is the trial of Lex Luthor. So after everything that played out in the first episode in Rebirth, Lex is now on trial for his crimes against humanity, literally, for what he did with Obsidian. And if you don't remember, Obsidian was that little, device that when you put your, they go like this, and it was just like somehow just that easy to pop in some. I'm sorry, but it was just so funny to me how they could just easily just go, and then all of a sudden now they got these little, they got these little damn eye things. I'm like, really? Are you contact lens? You really gonna use contact lens or just say, man, no, contact lens are hard to put in. You ever put in a contact lens? Yeah. Oh God, it's moving around in my eye. It's like they just said, oh hello. No. But it's a TV show, so I get it is. It was the stupidest thing. That's my point I'm trying to get across. That was the stupidest thing I ever seen for a TV show in which they used Obsidian. That's what Obsidian was, and that was like the stupidest thing. But here we see the trial of Lex Luthor, and he's, and what they're willing to do to make sure that Lex Luthor go behind bars. But we all know that Lex is a smart person, and he always figures out a way. That's just how he was in the comics. It had to be, even in the comics, it had to be damning, overwhelming evidence, and pretty much the word of Superman to get Lex Luthor behind bars easily. And it's not easily because of the fact that the evidence itself has to be overwhelming. And it's not a lot of things that Lex Luthor did that was overwhelming to the point where, everybody in the world knows he's guilty. But that's what this episode faces. This episode faces is everything they have is enough to put Lex Luthor in jail. But this episode starts off with a vampire of all things. He's stealing blood, and apparently in this Earth. Or at least from the Supergirl side of Earth that combined with every other Earth. Apparently now there's a planet called I think it was called Transylvania. to be all honest, but I think it basically is the planet that it's supposed to be based off of the mythology of the vampires, or where the vampires come from. And they even acknowledged that in here when they talk about him. They said he's basically what the stories of Dracula and all of them come from. They come from the planet of Transylvania, where vampires literally exist. But and he can even transform into a bat and whatnot. And we see Kara. We all know that Kara is stuck in the Phantom Zone. So John and the gang are basically tracking him to try to stop him. And we find out that they're not really trying to stop him because they know he's not really a bad person. Because he wasn't trying to attack people that steal their blood. He was just trying to get some blood from the blood bank. And because despite what we think, apparently in that world, despite what we think what vampires are, he don't drink from he don't attack and drink humans. He drink the blood from the plasma from the blood bank. He don't go directly for humans and stuff. Which is why they are not trying to arrest him. But they need his help because thanks to John's brother, they know that in cross-reference with any other inmate or people associated with the Phantom Zone, they know that he's the only person who was successfully able to break in to the Phantom Zone. Usually you had to be sent to the Phantom Zone with no way in or out. But he's the only person in the universe that's actually able to create a device that allows you to go into the Phantom Zone. But like with all things, like with the Flash in any show, things doesn't go as according to plan. But they have a conversation with him, and he tells them how he did it, how he created a machine to go save his husband, and his husband was stuck in the Phantom Zone, but he realized that by the time he got to his husband, his mission had failed because his husband was already driven insane. And he lives with the guilt because his husband apparently was wrongfully accused of something and thrown into the Phantom Zone. And he was not the real perpetrator of the crime. So when he tried to rescue him, I guess time flows differently there from out here. So when he got in there, apparently like one of the many tortures of the Phantom Zone is that the phantoms that are there, they mess with your mind and twist everything that you see and feel and torture you with it. They use your greatest fears or your greatest happiness or whatever, and they twist it and turn into where it's torturing you. And then they do it so much that he said in his words, they do it to the point where you don't even realize that you forget that they're doing it to you, and you just think that it's real. It becomes your reality. That's how bad it could get into your mind and tear you down. Like they make whatever they doing to you to the point where you don't even know. You forget at first. You like, yeah, I know this is not real. I know you're torturing me. And then he said you go from that to just basically being, you forget that they torturing you and that it's not real, and then it just becomes your reality. He said then after that you go insane. So he said, make no mistake, I failed and you will fail too. He tells the girl that they will fail just like him because by the time he got to the person he wanted to save, he was already insane. And he tells her that Kara would be whoever at first he didn't know. So he said, whoever you're trying to go after, they will be too. It will be too late. But then they tell him, they entrust him with the information that the person they're trying to save from the Phantom Zone is that of Supergirl herself. And that they know that he's the type of person that would do the right thing, and he wants them to prove him right. No, because John said, we know you capable of doing the right thing. Right now, everybody here thinks you're evil and wants to put you behind bars. But we're also convinced that you are not evil, as we see, you're not really trying to kill people. You were just trying to get the blood. So prove us right that you really are a good person and help us, and that's what he does. So he teaches them what the technology is and how to build it. And together with him, that's what they set out to do. On Kara's side of the field, Supergirl is stuck. They saw her when they finally get to her in the fort. I'm about to say the fort in Phantom Zone. they saw her, the first time they saw her, she was coming to a little bit, but her eyes was like all white because the Phantom was getting in her head, and she let out this like almost similar to the Justice League movie screen that Clark does at the beginning of the Zack Snyder's Justice League movie. She kind of does the same thing, but not in all dramatic fashion. It just she lets out this scream that sends out this little shock wave and breath smoke and all that type of stuff, and then she passes out again. And then when she wakes back up the second time, this time her eyes is normal, but the Phantoms are still after her, and they're about to do what they was doing to her again. But this time she's helped by a mysterious person that I won't tell you here, because if you haven't seen that episode by now, go watch the episode. You'll see who that person is. But I will tell you, it's a person that's thought long dead, and it's a person from Kara's past that helps her out. But this person is under the impression that Kara is just a hallucination and trick of the Phantoms, but Kara proves that she's not a hallucination, that she's a real person, to which shocks this person, because this person knows Kara, and knows the symbol that Kara wears on her chest, and that is impossible. This person thought it was impossible, but this person is pretty much happy to see Kara. And like I said, the person and Kara has a connection, and that is from a person in Kara's past. And, but now we shift over to the Lex Luthor side of the things. Lex Luthor's trial. Lex is basically on trial, like I said in the beginning, he's on trial for Obsidian, and for what he did with Obsidian. But like Lex, he has a plan to get out. But this time, his plan doesn't involve an elaborate escape, an explosion, or anything like that. He's going to try to get out legally. He's going to try to out-legal the system, because he knows the case. He knows, because of his intellect, he knows that the case built on him has flaws, and the case we're presented in this episode is the fact that that people don't really know, thanks to the brainwashing stuff. People don't really they know what he's done and what he's on trial for, but the problem is they don't have their own, mind to say, oh yeah, I remember he hypnotized me or whatever. They have to go off the words of Lena and dang it, I forgot that girl's name. The girl that was in love with Lex, and Miss Tessmacher. Miss Tessmacher's testimony, along with Lena's, is the basis for the trial, and that's supposed to be, the evidence to get him behind bars this time. And Lex, Lex says, I'm not staying behind bars because I've been locked up before because of Superman. Then I was escaped. Then was killed and resurrected, all before somebody else gained and stuff. He said he would not be going through that again. So of course he has a plan to get himself out of this situation that he's in. And in no way, safer terms, will this will he use his usual method to get out of this. Now he's going to use the legal system against himself to get out of this. And I'm going to get into how he does that in a minute. Or at least a little bit of it. I won't spoil too much, but I'll get into it a little bit. So back over to the Supergirl team. They got Dreamer. She's training with Brainy to basically hone her skills into, when they get into the Phantom Zone, to use it to help her to help her navigate and find Supergirl, because they need to use her to find Supergirl in there, because they don't know where to begin. Once they get in there, she would have to dream Supergirl is at location, which means more training to hone her skills. And things don't go such as planned, because she doesn't have much confidence in herself, because the pressure is too much. She believes that without her mother and her sister, nobody could teach her to really how to use her powers. But Brandy reassures her that she would be the reason why this mission succeeds, and that she is strong enough to use her powers in the way they need it. She just has to focus and believe in herself. And he talks about how before he came to the past, Supergirl was just like this mythological figure, that he was just a person that nobody in the Legion of Heroes knew Supergirl personally. They just knew her as Supergirl. And he said when he came now back into the past, he said both her and Brandy has gotten to know Supergirl as Kara. Not just Supergirl how they knew her in the future, but now they know her on the personal level. They know that she's really Kara Danvers, and that she's not as perfect as they make her seem like in the future. She has flaws and stuff too, but that's what makes her. They realize that's what makes her the Supergirl everybody loves, because she's just as human as she is Kryptonian. She's like a mixture of both, and that's what makes Superman and her the greatest superheroes, because they're not too human, yet they're not too much of a Kryptonian. They're like the right blend of both, and it makes them that unique as superheroes. And that's what they need to strive. That's what they need to use. They need to use her courage and her passion to get through this and go save her. Back to Supergirl. Supergirl and this person from her past, she tells this person how she figured out a way how they could get in. She remembered that I think her father or somebody told her, it was either her father or her mother. They told her that how the guards go in and out. There's a way to go in. There's a way to go in and out of the Phantom Zone. She remembers. She kind of sort of remembers where to go, but this person tells her that, hey, that's when the Phantoms will get mad and start messing with your head. As long as you don't anger them, they don't try to mess with your head. And this person's like, don't you see? This is how. There's no escape from here. There's only surviving and existing. You may not die, but you won't be. At least you won't lose your mind and go crazy. They don't strip everything from you that makes you who you are. This person has gone through that, and this person is trying to spare Supergirl that same fate. Back over to the court of Lex Luthor. They call E. Tessmacher to the stand. They got the jury on the Just TV because to protect them from Lex Luthor, and it's not going so well. Lex is poking the holes into E's Tessmacher, Miss Tessmacher's case, her whole little confession and everything, because he's turning it all around. He's basically saying, wow, yes, I could have committed all these crimes, but couldn't she have done it too? And her own testimony to condemn me for what I've done, she's also implicated herself in my crimes. She's also saying that she was standing by my side because she was in love with me, and now because I wouldn't reciprocate that love, now she's trying to use this as a way to bring me down. And then this is what happened. Is this a really concerned citizen, a woman who's really trying to get evil person off the streets, or is this a bitter woman who's mad because she was in love with me and I wasn't? So it's like he basically used that was his basis for her. So when that was basically going to hell, that's where Lena had to come in. But Lena had to weigh some options because, unlike Miss Tessmacher, Lena was kind of more of an accomplished than she was. But if she's willing to take down the Luthor name and smear the Luthor name along with herself just to keep her brother from going free, it's something she had to attach to. There's even a good scene with her mother and Lena, how her mother tried to basically bribe her into not going to testify against Lex Luthor because of what it would do to if she's successful. Because her mother knows that it's a great chance and a good chance that Lena's testimony will be the nail in the coffin for Lex, and Lex will get put in jail, and the Luthor name will now mean nothing. It won't. It will mean people will know who they truly are, and they're evil manipulators who wants to rule the world. And Lena's mother doesn't want people to realize that. She wants people to continue to think that the Luthor name is what they pretend to be, and not what it really is. So, but Lena makes the decision. She tells her mother basically to go to hell, and that I will, if that's what it takes to keep my brother from going free, that's what I would do. So that's what she ended up doing. She ended up going to testify, but Lex Luthor ends up eating the potholes in her little testimony, just like with Eve Tessmacher. He points out how she too was also was right by him, by his side, helping him with the with obsidian, and helping him use it to brainwash the people into thinking. You see how I did it? Brainwash the people into loving him no matter what he does, because that's what he was doing. He used it to brainwash people to love him no matter what he does, so that even if he murders someone, they will look past it and still love him for it. So they end up using, but he ended up using how Lena was there to rob him, but to try to make him get himself mad enough to implicate himself. But he ended up, he went that route for a minute, but he ended up getting his composure just at the right time to still turn on even on Lena and tell the judge, I have not committed the crimes that I've been accused of, but if I have, who could blame me? He said any of you would have done the same thing with power. He said, I'm not afraid of power, and let this be a lesson to you all that people, when you are a powerful person, there will always be people that tear you down because they don't want you to have that power. So basically, it was a compelling trial because you can literally see the ending coming. You see Lex turning these people because that's how smart and cunning he was. He lied through his teeth, but he was able to lie so good that they believed him. And so, and that should be enough to tell you what happens next. But, Lex has still got a plan. Things don't go right when they try to get into the Phantom Zone. They realize that Crisis had destroyed the Phantom Zone a lot more than they realized, but I won't get into that because that the way it does is a big reveal in itself, and the rest of that part, those parts are a big reveal in itself. So I would keep them on a hush hush, but I will tell you it's worth, if you go check out the episode, it's worth watching to this end because the end got a lot of stuff. But if I would have to give this episode anything, I would give it an 8 big ups too, because it's a good watch and I recommend watching it. It had a lot of good stuff, and it fleshed out the Lex Luthor character more in his cunning. This is where we get to see a cunning Lex Luthor, a smart Lex Luthor, a Lex Luthor who, even when overwhelming evidence, he still finds a way. But that's it. That's all I got. Hit this button right here for more of my reviews. Hit this button right here to subscribe to the channel because the Tribal Chief demanded acknowledge me. And hit that subscribe button. Or hit any one of these other buttons videos to enjoy my amazing content. Chief is out. I will be right back at you with some more gameplay videos. Peace.